Hi, and welcome back to another segment of Life Changing Solutions Live. As one of the awesome things that happens during a live recording is that, we are having some technical issues. But thank you so much for hanging tight on that. We have our guest today, Brianna Chavez from New Hope Foundation International. And she's actually in Tijuana right now. And that's because she works with human trafficking and really supporting the victims and trying to get funding to be able to really eradicate this issue. And January is the Human Trafficking Awareness Month, so I figured what better way to create that awareness than by having somebody who's really out there in the trenches. Thank you, Brianna. Can you hear us?
Yes, thank you. Hi, Angie. So good to hear from you all, and thank you, Life Changing Solutions, for having me on today.
You're welcome. Well, thanks for bearing with us in these technical issues. But so, as I mentioned, it is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. And what is it that you guys do out there? What is human trafficking about?
Sure. So, well, did you want me to answer that in terms of the work that we're doing out here in Mexico or in Vegas, or both?
Both. Really what human trafficking is as a whole, because that's a global issue.
Right.
And so,
well, yeah, so human trafficking is basically controlling someone through force, fraud, or coercion for personal or commercial gain. So a lot of times when we hear about sex trafficking, we're thinking about, women on the streets, prostitution, that kind of thing. Would be considered a form of human trafficking if there's force, fraud, or coercion involved. Also, labor trafficking. Sometimes we think about people that may be working in the agricultural sector that are being paid very, very, very low wages. Maybe they were lied to, being told that they were going to get paid something, and in reality are being paid almost nothing. So that could be another example. That's a very basic definition for what human trafficking is.
Mm-hmm. And so, and if you can share a little bit about the work that you're doing both here in Vegas and in Mexico.
Sure. So I actually work for an organization in Las Vegas. It's called New Hope Foundation International. And one of our projects is to raise awareness about human trafficking in the area of Vegas, but also on a worldwide level. So about a year ago, we decided that we wanted to expand our project and kind of talk about human trafficking in other areas. And we specifically decided on Mexico and the Tijuana area because people tend to come to Tijuana for the same reasons that people go to Vegas. This is one of the reasons why human trafficking happens. It's like a hub for human trafficking because it's kind of like another Sin City, so to speak. So we decided to come out and do work here, and we partnered with an organization called International Network of Hearts, and they have presence on both sides of the border, so the kind of San Diego, TJ border area, and they also do awareness. But the cool thing about being out here is that we also have 2 safe houses for victims, for child victims of human trafficking. So we're able to also provide services for children who have survived human trafficking. So it's really awesome work, and we've been doing a lot of great projects together, and we think that this is going to be a partnership for several years to come now.
And it is awesome. And I'll just speak from my personal experience. Being in social services for the last 18, 19 years, I thought I knew it all. And it wasn't until I went to one of your meetings and saw and heard so much. Even I was blown away by, the Romeo pimps and how common that is out here in Vegas. Can you speak into that?
Sure. So, well, one of the things that we do at New Hope is we do these trainings, and I think Angie's talking about our Human Trafficking 101, where we mention one of the popular ways that and this is typically young men recruit young women into the game, and they're called Romeo pimps. And so basically what they do is approach a young girl as they would pursuing her as a boyfriend, right? So they spot somebody out, typically who maybe seems to be alone a lot. They'll be watching them around school. Do they walk home alone all the time? Do they seem to not have a lot of friends? And kind of approach her and say, hey, what are you doing? And then start to get to know her slowly and make her all these false promises, find out what it is that she wants out of life, what she's lacking at home. Maybe it's a missing father figure, that kind of thing. And we'll create a relationship, a trusting relationship. And once that trust is there, and after some time has passed, then the Romeo pimp will maybe say something like, baby, I want us to have this life together. And in order for us to do that, we need to start making some money so that, we can move, we can have our own place. And, my friend said that if you have sex with him, he's going to pay you, blah, blah, blah. And it's okay, it's okay because I know you're doing it for us. You're doing it for us. So, this is just one way for us to get some money and it's fine with me. And then she may start like that. And then it'll happen again and again. And then the minute that she refuses, then he completely flips the script and shows his true colors. And he'll become abusive in that moment. And he'll, say, hey, you know what? I know who your parents are. I know where you live. I know this. And threaten the livelihood of those around her until she agrees to do it. And then by that point, it's too late. She's already in the game. But we do see a lot of that in Vegas, that a lot of the girls that are working do have Romeo pimps and believe that they are in love with their pimp, even though they're suffering all that abuse.
And that's one of the things that really just blew me away, because a lot of us often think like, oh, that can't happen to me. Human trafficking, that's not an issue that's happening in my backyard, and this is something that's happening to our children. They're being recruited right out of high school, junior high, and by men who are young enough to be able to seduce them and get them into the lifestyle. So it's just really something to be aware of. And then, but again, human trafficking is a big issue. Something else that I was blown away by, I had the opportunity to go to one of the safe houses out in Tijuana, and, I saw, girls from like 6 years old all the way to like 15, and was just like shocked that even a 6-year-old can be, used for prostitution or sold. And again, like, it happens, but it was very real for me. And thank you so much for that experience.
Sure.
And I think that's what you guys are about, right? That's your message, is creating that awareness that it happens everywhere and it can happen to anyone.
Exactly. And then the more that we as a society are able to really comprehend that, I think that is one of the beginning steps to really fight this issue. We have to realize that, even though we may have this wonderful life, we're not, we're just a few steps, a few clicks away, talking about social media, right? And how we can easily be recruited through social media by these online predators, a few clicks away from being in a situation where we could definitely be abused or trafficked or something like that. So it's really important for people to be aware of the issue.
And where can they go to get more information if somebody's interested?
Yeah, they can go to, I'll give you a couple websites. So in Vegas, it's nhfinternational.org. And then if you want to learn more about our work in the border region, it's inhearts.org.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Brianna. Our time is about to run out, and I invite everybody else to come back in our next segment. We're actually going to speak to one of your associates and partners in this, Alma Tucker. The interview will be in Spanish, but hopefully everybody can come back and stay tuned.
Awesome. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Brianna. Bye.
Bye.